You know, one day, instead of cleaning up everything in the background after Liam comes through and moves everything around, I'm just going to leave it for you so you can see what a mess it is back there behind me. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a stunning day out there, whether you're just getting started in your day or whether you're well along in the experience of it. I appreciate you being here as today we dive into a full album reaction. We're going to be checking out the fifth studio album by the Decemberists. That will be The Hazards of Love, released 2009. We're checking this out as this was suggested and sponsored by David. David, thank you so much for the recommendation. Really appreciate the support and you sending over the request. And I see that the album had also been suggested via Joanne Telling, Jeremy B., Saturnine Bear, Robert Foreman, Jason Brandt, Sean, the other one, not that one, but the other one. I'm looking through. Sidecar Dog, PT, it was loading. Ezekiru, Jim Bricker, and the list goes on from there. I appreciate you guys so much for the recommendation. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so with the Decemberist, I've, on my own time, and, you know, whenever the album came out, a long, long time ago, I've heard The Crane Wife. That's at least one album I'm familiar with them, and then other tracks we've covered here on the channel, one here or there, but not like a ton. So I have a little bit of a background of the band, but haven't heard a thing from this particular track, or this particular album, I should say. So really excited to dive into this one. I can't help but see that it's a concept album of sorts. Do I want to look at the story just yet? Not yet. Not yet. I was thinking about it. Let's like dive into the music a little bit, kind of get our feet wet in the most, for lack of a better word, virgin of ways, and then we'll look into the story and kind of gather context from that as we go forward. And I say that because I was thinking about it, because there was a comment, not on a recent video, but an older comment that came up here recently. And it was someone that said, because I guess it was an old video, and I guess I had looked up some information on the Wikipedia page before listening to the song, like about the story, and someone said, aren't you supposed to not look up anything before listening to the song and then like you look it up? So I was thinking about it, like, all right. I feel like, honestly, for something like this, which I know it's a concept album, I would like to have at least a little plot, but I'll also respect the keeping it as you know, pure and and undefiled for now. But I'm probably going to look at the plot like after listening to the first song. So, you know, just to throw that out there. Let's get the plugs out the way. The Buy Me a Coffee is there. If you have a song request or even an album request and you'd like to kind of jump the line and guarantee a listen and a review, you can, of course, do that over there. Patreon has exclusive content. And then if you don't mind, right here on YouTube, just pressing that like button, it goes a long way and it helps a great deal. It's 3 minutes since we've started talking, so let's go ahead and skip ahead and get into the music. What say you? What say you? I have my coffee ready to go. Decaf, because it's past 1 o'clock. When it's past 1 o'clock, we got to stop the drinking. Actually, when it's past 2 o'clock, we got to stop the drinking. Not that kind of drinking, but this kind of drinking. Anyways, let's go ahead and load everything up. We'll start off with the first track here, which, because I'm pulling up the lyrics, tells me it's instrumental, the prelude, which makes sense. So I'm more than likely going to let at least the first two tracks go together in that case. And that's going to be Prelude. And then that's going to lead into The Hazards of Love 1. The prettiest whistles won't wrestle the thistles undone. You can't tell me that's not a title. So let's go ahead and dive on in. We'll discuss it after. And as always, my friends, ooh, I'm holding this on the hot part. Gotta use the handle, that's why they have them. This one's to you. Sounds like the inside drone of a didgeridoo or something. love some organ. Curtains parting moment, showing the stage, the setup. Nice little bit of melodic organ, nice drone in the back. Here we go.
My true love went riding out in white and green and gray, past the pale of Arthur's wall where she was wont to stray.
Like a little Western-esque
and then
drum.
She came upon a white and wounded fawn singing, oh, the hazards of love.
How it slowly but surely gets underway. And Colin sounds fantastic.
She being full of charity, a credit to her sex,
The strumming there.
sought to right the fawn's hind legs when here her plans were vexed. The tiger shifted straight. The beast began to change, singing, oh, the hazards of love.
I like that time signature change too.
Singing,
That's a little
oh, the hazards of love. You'll learn soon enough. The prettiest whistles won't wrestle the thistles undone. Undone.
God, I love how that bass leads it.
15 some maidens lay along in their bower.
And very smart to use the brushes on the drums rather than just sticks.
14
Very smart.
occupations pay to pass the idle hour. Margaret heaves a sigh, her hands clasped to her thigh, singing, oh, the hazards of love, singing, oh, the hazards of love.
And it's
Learn
catchy.
soon enough. The prettiest whistles won't wrestle the thistles undone. Undone. Undone.
we have to stop it somewhere. So we'll go back and catch the transition as it moves from track to track, as there's a very strong possibility that every single song is going to lead into the next. But we got to at least pause this somewhere and talk a little bit. So, Prelude. Nice little drony, intro to kind of get us into the track. It is the curtain at the beginning of the show, and you're, listening to the intro music, before the band or before the stage begins and the play begins and all the players come on top. And then when the organ begins to show its face, that's when the curtains part and we get to see the stage, we get to see the scene and all the characters in place before they begin to move and contort and act, as we have that beginning in the second track with the Hazards of Love there. I love the way that they move into that very, very beautiful, strong, progressive folk kind of sound, of which, of course, they excel in every single respect. Colin sounds wonderful, fantastic. And one thing I love about his voice is, one, how unique he sounds. He just has a certain, I don't know if drawl is the right word I want to use, but he has a certain drawl in his voice in a certain way that he kind of draws out his words, and he sings in a certain part of his throat that kind of lends itself to the voice that he usually sings with. But it's also so clear. And there's moments where that clarity comes into power and he pushes it, but always with respect due towards the song and where the song's going to go. Such as we hear, for example, in the ending of this particular track, where it goes a little bit more, but otherwise it's a very calm kind of narrative approach to the music. The double bass. Oh, the bass. That's Nate Query on the bass. Good. Absolutely brilliant. Lovely to listen to. I love how in the transition within the middle of the song, we get to focus on his bass playing for quite a decent amount of time, and it acts kind of like as half a transition, half a solo, but it's all a green light for me. I love that sound, and I love the way that it's used there to kind of move into the next second half of the song there. Guitar playing is obviously fantastic. Not only do you have Malloy playing guitar, but you also have that being performed by Chris Funk, and his name is quite adequate with all that he does and with the melodic rhythm that he brings. And I like how the guitar sound in this track, to me, almost has a Western-esque vibe, especially on the second half of the meter and of the riff itself. It kind of has a Western resolution to it, where you can kind of see the tumbleweeds blowing past it in this desert. Like, just a really, really fantastic start. And then John Moen on the drums and percussion. It's an obvious thing, sure, but I got to mention it. I really like how he approached the drums when they did come in with brushes. Not going for something typical, snare and a lot of cymbal and hi-hat work and such, but approaching it in that way with brushes lends itself to still creating a nice bit of power when the drums come in, as they do, but it does it in a more subtle and, once again, respectful towards the song kind of way. It doesn't disrupt the waters that the track has built up to that point. It just adds a new current to it. And I really like the way that he did that there. Let's take a look at the lyrics here. Like I said, we're probably going to look at the story, at least to get an idea of the general plot. We won't look at the details, but I think that it would help to at least have a little bit of an idea. My true love went riding out in white and green and gray, past the pale of office wall where she was wont to stray. And there she came upon a white and wounded fawn, singing, "Oh, the hazards of love." She, being full of charity, a credit to her sex, sought to right the fawn's hind legs, when here her plans were vexed. Okay, so she's in a sense, when you see a turtle crossing the road, this is her version of helping the turtle cross the road. She sees the wounded fawn. She's there to go help him. The taiga shifted strange. The beast began to change, singing, "Oh, the hazards of love." I'm going to click on it, but isn't taiga a mythological creature of sorts? I think. But I'm assuming that this fawn that she's trying to care and tend for is something else, the taiga. But if it's a mythological creature, I actually have no idea what it is. Singing, "Oh, the hazards of love," you'll learn soon enough. The prettiest whistles won't wrestle the thistles undone. Like I think the point of that line is the most beautiful of actions and things that you could do won't actually undo the damage done and the thistles. Perhaps, what she's trying to do in rescuing this fawn. Let me click on taiga. I'm completely wrong. Also known as boreal forest, it's a biome characterized by coniferous forest consisting mostly of pines, spruces, and larches. Well, I'm absolutely wrong. Also, I really like how when Colin's singing this part, how, when he's singing here, he ends the meter just a little sooner, but that's kind of countered by when he actually gets into the subtitle of the track with that run-on sentence, how it acts a little bit longer. So that's a really cool way of balancing, taking away over here, but adding it back on another section. It's the law of equivalent exchange. 15 lissom maidens lay alone in their bower. 14 occupations paid to pass the idle hour. But Margaret heaves a sigh, her hands clasped to her thigh, singing, "Oh, the hazards of love." And it repeats from there. Now, I'm going to look at I just need like a general idea of what this album is about before we continue on. Concept album and rock opera with all songs contributing to a unified narrative. Yep, okay. The plot is a love story. A woman named Margaret falls in love with a shape-shifting boreal forest dweller named William. Okay. William's I guess we might as well. William's mother, the jealous forest queen, and the villainous rake bring conflict to the album's story arc. Perfect. I just need to know a little bit of the concept so we know how to look at this, So now it makes sense here with Margaret heaving a sigh, the taiga shifted strange, the beats begin to change. Okay. And actually now, so falling in love with a forest, basically in a forest spirit or a forest dweller, I should say, named William, kind of makes sense with the twisted greenery in the album cover. Okay, I think that's good for now. Let's move on into the next track here, at least, which is going to be a bower scene. Let me back it up here to the ending of Hazards. It's a crunchy riff, man. They're building it up to an explosion, but they're holding it back.
When wilt thou trouble the water in the cistern?
Like the crunch riff contrasts with that lovely light melody. Let that ride out a little bit. I didn't know they were going to get that heavy.
And when young Margaret's waistline grew wider,
someone's been messing around a little bit.
The fruit of her amorous entwine inside her.
Okay. The fruit of her labor, her love.
And so our heroine withdraws to the taiga.
Drop the hammer on that, man. But it kind of has that kind of sexy sway to it as well. See, they're hitting that western kind of almost country as. So now use the snow, right? to her love. Okay, gotcha. That's fantastic. I love how it still has the weight from the previous track, but now it's lightened it up a little bit.
Mr. Thrush, lay me down in the underbrush. My naked feet grow weary with the dust. Willow boughs, make a bed to lay me down. Let your branches bow to cradle us.
Sweeping through it. So I'm assuming he's acting as the force, the spirit person. Perhaps. That's a Ford truck kind of riff. Okay. All right. See, with that little information that we had in the beginning, that just that little blurb on Wikipedia, now I have a nice, now I can follow the story a little more. Okay, so she got pregnant by this forest dweller. She's discovered in her pregnancy, and she decides to go back to the forest to share the news with Daddy. Okay, that's what's happening. But man, the amount of drama musically that's swirling around it, which makes sense. There's some drama to be had. This is Housewives of the Arboreal Forest here. But I really, really, really like how heavy they get in Bower Scene. From the moment that guitar riff begins to pick up, you know that it's building towards something. Now, me going through this on my first listen, I know it's building tension, and you know it's going to hit that boiling point, but I wasn't quite sure where it's going to release that tension. And it does it in that track twice. It's a 2-minute song. It's not a lot of time to do it, but they make the best use of it. I love how heavy it gets in those breakdowns in there. Like, it is just phenomenal how crashing down they come in. And it's nicely juxtaposed with that light melody that carries through in the part that precedes it. So it's a really nice back and forth of this light melody, but then the absolute descending gravitational pull when it pulls it down into that mire of heaviness. That is really, really fantastic. And on that particular track, so we actually go back and forth, but let me see. You're going to have, not there, but Becky Stark on vocals, and she's going to be the voice of Margaret. I'm assuming that Colin is kind of acting as the voice of the forest dweller, as it kind of seems from the lyrics there. He kind of came in at that particular point where it seems that he's responding to her. So it seems that like those are kind of our characters here, at least at that particular moment. But really, how fantastic. And really cool was how, it's only a 2-minute track, so it's kind of acts as like this interlude, this transition, whatever you want to call it, a bridge. And then when it moves into the next track, that heaviness, it doesn't go away. It just changes a little bit, more rhythmically. It gives it a little bit more of a bounce, right? And of course, we have the ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. And it comes back to that playful, fun melody that still is telling the story and pushing it ahead, pushing that narrative, but keeping that heaviness, keeping that weight. And now it makes sense the kind of arduous journey and the difficulty that's going to be happening here as she's going through the forest, a little bit lost and not quite sure where she's going, trying to find Daddy. She's just on this perilous journey, but eventually he does call out to her, and he finds her. But just really cool how the track really captures all that. Obviously lyrically, but it captures the drama, the feelings, and the emotions musically really nicely. But I gotta say, I really, really like how Bauer's scene was just like, it just got heavy. That was really cool. Thou unconsolable daughter, said the sister, when wilt thou travel the water in the cistern? And what irascible blackguard is the father, right? She knows, sister knows. she wants the tea. And when young Margaret's waistline grew wider, the fruit of her amorous entwined inside her, and so our heroine withdraws to the taiga. I like how he switched from characters, like her sister, speaking, to the narrator, right? Just describing what's happening. And then we can read a little bit here. See, Colin says that this is one of their best songs in an interview. He says, I like the little transitional pieces. That was the most fun thing to work on that record. That little piece might be my favorite thing. It was a revelation to me. Initially, I was writing the whole record in the key of D. It was all going to be in like a drop D tuning on the guitar, which drop D is always like what's used in like deathcore and like those kind of sounds as well. So it makes sense why it's so heavy. And I didn't abandon that until like 3/4 of the way through the record. I was like, oh my God, this is not going to work. It would be so zany. But initially on this track, that's where the promise was still very, very great. Isn't this I think that this is a wonderful little sentence. This is not going to work. It would be so zany. But hey, let's do it, because that's exactly the reason to do so, right? And then with the following track, Won't Want for Love. Let's see. So Becky Stark, this is, like I said, who's singing the part of Margaret. Gentle leaves, please array a path for me. The woods all growing thick and fast around. Columbine, Columbine, please alert this love of mine. Let him know his Margaret comes along. Send a smoke signal, she's on the way. And all this stirring inside my belly won't quell my want for love. And I may swoon from all this swelling, but I won't want for love. She's saying, I may pass out from, this pregnancy and this journey and, this stirring in my belly, this morning sickness, this all these other things that she has to deal with. It's not going to kill her love. It's not going to make her want love any less. Missile thrush, lay me down in the underbrush. My naked feet grow weary of the dusk, or with the dusk. Willow boughs, make a bed to lay me down. Let your branches bow to cradle us. There's almost a fairy tale aspect to the writing and the meter that's being written here. And then, of course, Colin returns and responds to her, oh, my true love, can you hear me, love? And it repeats from there. So like I said, it seems that either he's found her or he's calling out to her as well. They're both calling out to one another in their search for one another. Let's go ahead and move into the next track here, which is going to be, let's just let this track play, and then maybe we'll let the next two play. So this one, The Hazards of Love 2, Wager All. I'm going to back it up so you can get the Sorry, just trying to catch the transitions here. And I'm sorry, but that riffing in Want for that's such a Ford truck commercial kind of riff. I'm just putting that out there. Just saying.
And here I am, softer than a shower.
Great percussion choices.
And here I am, to garland you with flowers, to lay you down in a clover bed.
This is that comfort.
The stars a roof above our heads. And all my life I've never felt the tremor. And all my life that now disturbs my fingers. I'll lay you down in a clover bed. The stars a roof above our heads.
It's a really lovely line. That open air, just beautiful
We
nature.
all lie to the corn crake crows. Wrath the weight of our summer clothes. And I wait to roam
Maybe that power piece.
the hazards of love.
It's worth it.
Hazards of love.
The note still hints like this is a beautiful moment between them, but there's still something. The hazards, right? There's still something. There's conflict somewhere brewing around them. That organ, it hints at something. I tell you.
And take my hand and cradle it in your hands. And take my hand to feel the pull, the quicksand. I'll lay you down in a clover bed. Stars a roof above our heads. And we all lie to the corn crake crows. The wrath, the weight of our summer clothes. And
It's that final push.
to roam the hazards of love. The hazards of love. The hazards of love. The hazards of
Yep. Okay. Hazards of Love. I could easily see that being like a single from the album. I'm gonna check really quick if it was or if it is, because that feels like it could absolutely be a track that you could put on the radio. The band would release as a single. it's that really deeply romantic, feel good kind of track, but also the moment, of course, right? The two lovers have reconnected and they're just enjoying each other's company underneath the roof of the stars, which is a very beautiful and poetic way to describe it. And the nature that surrounds them is really wonderful. And so, very much appropriately, this track is incredibly sweet and melodic and romantic, but not in a sappy, cheesy way. There's no careless whisper saxophone, as much as I like it, like sneaking in the side and telling us what's happening. No, it's just a very beautiful scene for the two to enjoy one another, and we're just kind of spying in on them. It's kind of like where it's Timon and Pumbaa watching Nala and Simba when they had reconnected. And I remember she gives him the eyes, like the I can't do it, but that part, and like they're like, let's leave them alone. It's like that. It's just a very beautiful, intimate moment there, and I love how all the melodies, all the beautiful guitar, and even the organ, even though we'll talk about that, kind of hint towards that. I also really like the percussion that's used from John in the very beginning of this track and how it sets things up. Once again, not something so typical, so obvious, but approaching it a little bit different and kind of giving it a little bit more of a storied kind of atmosphere. And now, from the little bit of plot we read, we know that there's trouble coming. But I would say that the organ, courtesy of Jenny Connolly, I'm saying that the organ notes kind of hint at conflict to come, because amidst all this beauty and these melodic notes and such, these flourishes, these chords that are happening, you can hear in that organ especially, and parts of the guitar, you can hear those chords that just hint to a little bit of, this is a nice moment, but there's some trouble brewing. There's something happening underneath the surface, perhaps. So we will see where that goes from here. But for now, we enjoy the moment. And I love how Colin's voice, when he sings here, it immediately captures the comfort, captures the idea of, you can imagine these two finding each other and just their embrace with one another, and how now immediately all their troubles, all their worries are assuaged and thrown away, and they can just focus on this moment of intimacy between them. And here I am, softer than a shower. Like, that's a great, welcoming, and warm opening. And here I am to garland you with flowers, to lay you down in a clover bed, the stars are roof above our heads. And all my life I never felt the tremor, and all my life that now disturbs my fingers. And we'll lie till the corn crake crows. Well, that's some alliteration. Bereft the weight of our summer clothes, and I'd wager all the hazards of love, the hazards of love. Get the weight of our clothes off. And I love how, along with the strength that he sings this chorus, which that's, like I said in the beginning of the video, that's where he pushes his voice more. I just really like how the hazards of love, the words change in context with the different songs. So here, I'd wager the hazards of love, the risk of our romance. I'd bet on us, and I would take the risk if it means a moment with you. And take my hand and cradle it in your hand, and take my hand to feel the pull of the quicksand. The hazards of love, the hazards of love. Everything's dandy. But the next track is The Queen's Approach, and I have a feeling the Queen ain't going to be happy. Let's go ahead and let the next two tracks play. That'd be The Queen's Approach and Isn't It a Lovely Night? A little banjo here, huh? See, those pitch bendings, those are always lending towards trouble. Always. Is it accordion? Still very sweet.
Isn't it a lovely night?
Really like her
and
voice.
so alive with fireflies providing us their holy light.
And a perfect slow waltz as well.
And here we made a bed of boughs and thistledown that we had found to lay upon the dewy ground.
It's really nice.
And isn't it a lovely way? We got in from our play. Isn't it, babe? A sweet little baby.
The fruit of their love.
Wasn't it a lovely breeze that swept the leaves of arbor eaves and bent to brush our blushing knees?
I love how he came in there, and they're just
Here
reassuring.
we died our little dance, and we were live to catch our breath, so swiftly lifting from our chest.
Oh my.
And isn't it a lovely way? We got in from our play. Isn't it, babe? A sweet little baby.
What a lovely entrance. This is a beautiful country waltz that is going to. Okay. I love how the previous track with Hazards of Love, it really captured that reunion between the two. And it was a beautiful, exciting moment. I like how this track, obviously now the baby's born, and I like how we continue on with that. We're not immediately thrown into conflict. We're not immediately like moving on from that particular scene. We're embellishing into it. We're enjoying it a little bit more. I actually really like that it did that. Maybe it's in my mind, it's kind of unexpected, but after a moment of peace and comfort with one another, we get some more moments of beautiful, elated happiness, and you can just imagine them. Like I like how we have a conversation now between the two, and I love. I'm sorry, I love Becky singing here. It's gorgeous. But when when he responds to her, I think that it's such a beautiful, touching moment there. I think that I can't speak to Becky Stark or Colin Malloy. I don't know anything about them personally, and I'm not going to assume. But I feel like they both have such a theater kid kind of energy, in the sense that I wouldn't be surprised if both of them had taken drama classes and been involved in theater or drama or anything like that in school or outside of it. Because I think the way that they sing, the way that they capture the emotions perfectly, just really nicely enacts that. And I would not be surprised, if that's was something that they had done in their past, or maybe they even did in preparation for this album. I don't know. I know they did similar stuff in Crane Wife, but it's very genuine that this all comes across. I love the accordion being played in here. I love the slow waltz and how we can take in this moment. And I like how this slow waltz turns into a country slow waltz at the very end. With the ending of everything, Jenny Connolly on the accordion handling that. I love how Nate Query comes into the bass in such a strong way. Like, it's just a beautiful swinging moment to kind of put us down here. And evidently some time has passed, so it seems that they've been able to enjoy each other for quite a while here. Now, the previous track, the little transition of the Queen's approach, I honestly expected there to be some conflict, like the Queen isn't going to want them to do anything, but I didn't really hear anything in there that honestly sounded like, to me, like conflict or trouble. There was more ominous notes in Wager All. Like, it has a little bit of, like, to me this sounds like a wagon passing by. The little pitch bending does hint, but it's so quickly moved on from that with Isn't It a Lovely Night that, I don't know. Did the Queen even notice anything? I don't know. Isn't it a lovely night and so alive with fireflies providing us their holy light? And here we made a bed of boughs and thistledown that we had found to lay upon the dewy ground. See, like, they've been with each other now for such a long time that they can look back at the memories of these places. This is where we made our bed of boughs and such. And isn't it a lovely way we got in from our play? Isn't it, babe, a sweet little boy? Wasn't it a lovely breeze that swept the leaves of arbor eaves and bent to brush our blushing knees? Such poetry. Not only the meter, but the internal rhyming and such, and really great. And here we dot our little defs, le petit mort.
Oh my.
We know what that means, and we were left to catch our breaths, so swiftly lifting from our chest. And isn't it a lovely way we got in from our play? Once again, they're just not only enjoying each other's company once again, but just enjoying the fruits of their love together. Now let's move on into the next track here, which is The Wanting Comes in Waves / Repaid. The harpsichord. I like it. So now it sounds like drama.
Mother, I can hear your footfall now, soft disturbance in the deadfall. How it precedes you like a black smoke pall. Still the wanting comes in waves. And you delivered me from danger, then tore my cradle from the reedy Glen, swore to save me from the world of men. Still the wanting comes in waves.
So is this now the perspective of their son?
In waves.
Interesting.
And waves. And the wanting comes in waves.
Love that vocal. We're going heavy again. Ooh, I love that quiver, that vibrato. And that twisted riff like a vine. Such a mom thing to say. This is how I am repaid. 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 This is how I am repaid Sounds like the lead singer from Blood Ceremony a little bit. Starts so low.
Mother, hear this proposition.
I love the
grant me freedom to enjoy this night, and I'll return to you at break of light. For the wanting comes in waves and waves and waves.
I love how contrasting their parts are.
Still the wanting comes in waves. Still the wanting comes in waves. Still the wanting comes in waves. And you owe me life.
That part sounds like Old Valencia. that little note. And right back to her. Okay. We're playing ball. It also shows the emotional background of each character at this moment.
If I grant you this favor to hand you your life for the evening, I will retake by morning and soul. Consider it your debt repaid. Consider it your debt
Well, I would say quite appropriately, there's your conflict. there's the moments of peace, romance, and intimacy deftly disturbed in this track. Okay, so we have, I mean, it's obviously kind of two tracks, I guess you could say, of course, by the split. But man, I really like how it's not, maybe in a typical way, right? When you see the title of the track, The Wanting Comes in Waves / Repaid, I expect the track to basically have two halves. The first half, and then there's a clear second half. But the track doesn't operate that way exactly. There are obviously two very distinct musical motifs and sounds here, but instead of putting one in the beginning and then one at the end to kind of split them, we go back and forth. It's more of a conversation. It is a conversation back and forth. And so I think that just, structurally and conceptually with the title and everything is already different, already unique to how most would approach that, which is great. Colin's part. I'm going to say it again. I really enjoy how everyone, musicians, singers, everyone capture the emotions that are happening in the story beats, in the plot as it moves forward. This desire from him to basically want to enjoy life. The wanting comes in waves. He just wants to enjoy life. There's a beautiful like honesty and innocence and want from him that comes through wonderfully. I love that background singing during the chorus of his part, the ooh, like that part. I really really like that because it's like almost this beautiful divine voice and echoing in the back. Like this is a pure want, a pure desire. Then you contrast that with the bam 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 with the heavy hard rockin' riff of the repaid part. And that dead is not quite repaid just yet. So on that on those vocals there, that's going to be Sharon Nova. Fantastic, man. She reminds me of the singer from Blood Ceremony, if you've ever checked out that band, which is a really, really fantastic band. Think of like Black Sabbath and Jethro Tull. But her vocals hit that same kind of style, and I think she is just brilliant. I love that evil vibrato that she has, that warble, that cadence that she puts on the end of some of her notes. It's like that pot is just simmering there at the end, and she lets it simmer just a little bit, but at the end, she lets a vocal boil come out as she just unleashes it. Incredible presence, fantastic singing. And once again, I like how her section is the heavy, evil part. Well, his is the pure hearted and good-natured innocence. You know, just really nicely contrasting, but putting them together in one track, in one song, and it almost acts as this weird kind of verse chorus. It's very very unique. I think that it's a testament to the band how they put this all together, these two distinct styles but in one song and making it go back and forth in a really cool way. There's a case of whiplash, but it's a pleasant whiplash if there's such a thing. And I might have to look at the story a little bit on this one, because at first I was reading this and like Colin's playing the wood guy. So I guess Cher is playing his mother. Because honestly, I at first I read this as the son of Margaret and the wood guy. And like it's just time going forward. And, you know, he's grown up now a little bit. And he wants to, you know, explore the world of man a little bit. He wants to get out the woods. He's grown up there and he wants to go out. But now I'm reading this a little bit different. Unless Colin's playing multiple characters. We'll figure it out. Mother, I can hear your footfall now. Soft disturbance in the dead fall. How? It precedes you like a black smoke pall. Still the wanting comes in waves. Yeah, that... I don't know why I guess because the mother part. But, you know, with all the descriptives, this is clearly a bad mother. Shut your mouth. You delivered me from danger then. Tore my cradle from the reedy glen. Swore to save me from the world of men. Still the wanting comes in waves, So, okay. We get a little history between mom and son here. She saved him. She did a great deed to him and kept him away from the world of men. But still, that desire comes in waves. Almost like a kind of a Tarzan situation. You know? I want to be with my people. And I want this night. How I made you, I wrought you. Very, very, selfish in just the lines. I made you, I wrought you, I pulled you from war, I labored you, from cancer, I cradled you. Like I did all these things. And this is how I'm repaid. Remember when I found you, the miseries that hounded you, and I gave you motion, anointed with lotions. I gave you life. Then he replies, Mother, hear this proposition right. Grant me freedom to enjoy this night, and I'll return to you at break of light. Like, just give me this one night. Just come on, Mom. Ma. He says, you owe me life. You owe me life. She says, if I grant you this favor to hand you your life for the evening, I will retake by morning. I'm going to give you your life for one night. And so consider it your debt repaid. That's a heavy debt. Let's read a little bit about this one. The song represents William's I didn't know that his name was William. Wanton disregard for the queen's desire in the name of his love and the beginning of the Queen's revenge. You know, this is actually also kind of like a Hunchback of Notre Dame with Frollo, right? Because wasn't Quasimodo abandoned? Frollo took him and raised him, locked him in the tower and such. But depending on the adaptation and such, he wasn't horrible to him in some ways, in some adaptations. In some. All right, let's move on to the next track here, or tracks, which is going to be an interlude and then the Rakes song. Let me back it up here a little bit. Oh, I don't mind hearing that again. Relaxing, very melancholic. You can almost imagine the sadness in William as he laments like this is one night, basically. Was a nice interlude.
I had entered into a marriage in the summer of my 21st year.
It's got a snarl.
And the bells rang for our wedding. Only now do I remember it clear. All right, all right, all right. No more a rake and no more a bachelor. I was wedded and it wedded my thirst until her womb started spilling out baby. Only then did I reckon my curse. All right,
Said, children's.
all right, all right, all right, all right.
The drum sound is that's a big kit. I wonder what the size on that thing is.
First came Isaiah with his crinkled little fingers. Then came Charlotte and that wretched girl Dawn. Ugly Mafan, we died on delivery. We're simply taking her mother along. All right,
I guess that was fine for him.
all right, all right. What can one do when one is a widower? Shamefully saddled with 3 little pests. All that I wanted was the freedom of a new life. So my burden I began to divest. All right, all right, all right.
That's a big drum sound.
All right, all right.
listening to your
He
kids.
was drowned in the bath.
God.
Isaiah fought, but was easily bested.
Yeah.
Burned his body for incurring my wrath. Alright,
So this is a bad guy.
alright, alright. And that's how I came your humble narrator to be living so easy and free. Expect that you think that I should be haunted, but it never really bothers me. Alright, alright, alright. Alright,
Should I stop it? Stop it there. Stop. Hold on a second. Okay. So from what I'm gathering with the Rake song, that he's supposed to be the bad guy. He's supposed to be the villain. there's no doubt about that. Okay. There's a way to introduce a character. There's a way to make a splash in the pond, and that is a way to make a character some dark humor in there. That's a fantastic way to open. Okay. So with an interlude, right? And appropriately, pretty much halfway through the album here. Interlude is a really, really nice, kind of melancholic bit of guitar, some effects and such, and just a nice kind of tranquil but thoughtful drop in the pond. It to me really feels like after William has made this deal with his mom, this is him kind of walking back to Margaret with his thoughts, sadness, a lot of mixed emotions, just trying to enjoy like this last night with her, like, and the baby. Like, this is that walk back to her with all these thoughts going on. So I really like how that was performed there, and I see that in that particular track you have Robin Hitchcock, who we've heard a few times, and with the Soft Boys and such, playing the guitar in that particular track. So really, really wonderful, really beautiful, that track. All right, let's talk about the Rake. First of all, we get heavy again. We pull out a big drum set. We pull out the big kick. I don't know how many inches that thing is, but it has quite a boom to it, a nice surround sound to it. And we get, once again, like I said, into a heavier track. Colin unleashes his villainous arc. He gets into that a little bit of a snarl, not too much, but there's a sneer. There's a certain way that he upturns his lips and his mustache. He's twirling it for this one. The lyrics are darkly humorous, with the reckless abandon in which he describes the Rake, the villain, the bad guy. I'm sorry, but the lyrics are funny. I had entered into a marriage in the summer of my 21st year, and the bells rang for our wedding. Only now do I remember it clear. All right, all right, all right. No more a rake and no more a bachelor. What's a rake? I guess, honestly, what is a rake? A rake, short for rake hell, is a historic term applied to a man who is habituated to immoral conduct, frequently a heartless womanizer. Think Al Swearingen in Deadwood. Never seen it? I was wedded, and it whetted my thirst until her womb started spilling out babies. Only then did I reckon my curse. He was fine with her until the babies started coming. Then, just ruining his life. First came Isaiah with his crinkled little fingers. Then came Charlotte and that wretched girl Dawn. Ugly my Fawnwee died on delivery, mercifully taking her mother along. I have nothing of comment to say, but I do think it's darkly humorous how, each of the first three children have normal names. Now, unless I'm mistaken. My Fawnwee sounds like my Fanny or something like that. And I feel like because of his wretchedness, he probably named this child like just like some garbled, like some whatever made up words, just who cares kind of thing. Unless it is an actual name. Then I apologize. What can one do when one is a widower, shamefully saddled with three little pests? All that I wanted was the freedom of a new life, so my burden I began to divest. Okay, before we move forward, he is like, he's mad. He's just like at his situation, and not in the normal way that a normal person would be, upset with their situation, but he just wants to get to his old life again. He just wants to divest from this situation. And of course, like for me as a listener and listening to the lyrics and such, I'm like, okay, how is he going to divest? How is he going to separate himself from this situation? Is he just going to leave? Leave the children fatherless? He's just going to go? Nope. Charlotte I buried after feeding her foxglove. I'm assuming that's poison. Dawn was easy. She was drowned in the bath. Isaiah fought but was easily bested. Burned his body for incurring my wrath. And so we come to the present. And that's how I came, your humble narrator, to be living so easy and free. Expect that you'd think that I should be haunted, but it never really bothers me. So the rake is the bad guy, or at least one of the bad guys in our tale. Let us move into the next track here. Let's move into the next song. We'll take the next two here together, which are The Abduction of Margaret and The Queen's Rebuke, The Crossing. I guess I probably shouldn't read too far ahead of the song titles. Spoil things for myself. Let me get to the end of Rake. That's sneaky. I like how that musical motif comes back. Nice way to connect everything. Still doing good on coffee.
And all the while whispering arbors provide cover.
Really nice way to bring that back. And the duration is almost the same.
What previous
From Bauer.
witnessed ardor of our lovers. Our heaven here falls prey to
Drop D. Drop D. I love how they reuse this. Just changing it a little bit.
I'll gallop with Margaret's long route, cross with us. Having clamped her innocent fingers in fetters. This villain must calculate crossing the wild river.
I gotta use that into the next track.
I'm made of bones of the branches, the boughs, and the browbeating life. While my feet are the trunks and my head is the canopy high. And my fingers extend to the leaves and the eaves and the bright.
Oh man.
Brighter shine, it's my shine.
I like how this is the fulfillment of that build-up from Bauer and the previous track. Now.
He was a baby abandoned, entombed in a cradle of clay. And I was the soul who took pity and stole him away.
Okay. Some psychedelic guitar back there. Very, very intense.
Troubled my innocent child to abduct and abuse and to render ripped and defiled.
She's saying, do whatever you want.
But the river is deep to the banks and the water is wild. I will fly to the far side.
That is some killer guitar work. The organ just holding it down like this. Turn. Why not chop it up? This is a really cool album. Like, really, really cool. Abduction of Margaret. I love the idea that we return to the tension building, the explosion of Bower scene. I love that we return to that. Taking such a small, like 2-minute part in the album, which was a powerful part, and we come back to it again. And I was thinking about it. I mean, lyrically, it references, in Bower scene, obviously, the secrets as Margaret's talking to her sister, is kind of being revealed under the bower, under the trees and the canopies and such. The secrets are being revealed. Here, they make mention of it under the trees and everything. She gets abducted. So it's also a return to that lyrically. Really, really like that. I like how we bring in the 16th notes in here as well. Like, it's a little bit of a slight expansion on Bower scene, just a little bit. But I like that. And of course, in a clearly different way. With Bower scene, by the end, she's running away on her own towards her love. With her abduction, obviously, she's still leaving the area, but this time not of her own will and forcibly so. I also really love how we don't just have that as once again a transition. We get the fulfillment of that. We get the carrying on of that riff into the next track with Queen's Rebuke and The Crossing. I like how we actually expand upon it. And not in some huge way. Not like a huge way, but it doesn't need to be. It's a cool, heavy riff there already. And I love how they play that, just straight. Ba ba da da ba 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 da ba ba, and then chugging along. Bum 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 bum. There's something very bluesy about it, of course. There's something kind of old 70s Black Sabbath about that particular part. I really like how we have Sharonova back on here as well, because she just brings this wonderful spark into the music, and it's like she is chewing up the scenery and delighting in playing as the queen here, the evil queen, and she just stunner. She's a stunner in her delivery. And I also like how we get kind of psychedelic with some parts in here. We got, Chris Funk bringing in some more psychedelic kind of guitar at first, a little bit of a wah-wah in the back there, but then eventually kind of breaking into some almost Hendrix-like, performances there as well. And then you have Jenny coming at the organ. We get a little bit of a solo, in the pauses and in the hits kind of moment, which is always fun to listen to. And that just raises the tension until letting go there at the end. So I think that was really cool, just how structured and restructured parts of the song are, the fulfillment and the extension of some of that. It's generally just really, really cool to listen to. It's an album that, in how it goes, I don't know story-wise what's going to happen, and I don't know musically where it's going to go, because I did not expect us to be returning to Bowerseen there in a sense. And all the while, Whispering Arbors provide cover, right? There you go, Whispering Arbors provide cover. What previous witnessed arbors of lovers? See, even lyrically we reference what they previously saw. Our heroine here falls prey to her abductor. All a gallop with Margaret slung rude across withers, having clamped her innocent fingers in fetters. This villain must calculate crossing the wild river. He's trying to figure out how to cross. And eventually, the Forest Queen says, I got you, basically. All right. I love how the Queen, in an egotistical kind of way, she puffs herself up a little bit. I'm made of bones of the branches, the bows and the brow beating light. While my feet are the trunks and my head is the canopy high, and my fingers extend to the leaves and the eve and the brightest shine. It's my shine. He was my baby abandoned, entombed in a cradle of clay, and I was the soul who took pity and stole him away, and gave him the form of a fawn to inhabit by day, brightest day. It's my day. So there's a little bit of history. There's a little bit of background. Obviously, we had gotten the part of the story that she rescued him as a baby, but here, not only that, but also gave him the form of a fawn. Remember in the very beginning of the album, how Margaret went to help the fawn. And you have removed this temptation that's troubled my innocent child, to abduct and abuse and to render her reft and defiled. But the river is deep to the banks and the water is wild. I will fly you to the far side. She's going to give him a lift, and also says, thanks for removing the temptation for my son. Thanks for removing that woman from his sights, and do what you want with her. Just keep her away. So that's where we left off. Let's go ahead and move on into the next track here, which is Anon Water. Anon Water. Anon Water. Anon Water. Anon Water.
Build a boat that I might ford the other side, to reach the farther shore where my true love lies and wait for me.
Does he know that she got kidnapped?
And wait for me. And wait for me.
It's almost a little loss of hope there.
Wait for me. Oh, gray river, your waters ramble wild. The horses shiver and bite against the bridle.
desperation in Colin's voice really nice.
Though my mother cries that if I try, I sure will drown in me. Will drown in me. Will drown in me.
Love that little.
Drown in me. If you call, let me pass. You may render me a rat when I come back. So calm your waves and slow the churn.
I love how it's please.
You may have my precious bones on my return.
Let me cross and I'll come back and give you my life. I love how that gave us a little like a plea, a prayer to the river.
And in water, oh, hear my true love's call. Hear her holler above your water's paw. God, that I could, that my two arms could give me wing, and I would cross your breath and rest my breast about her amber ring.
I love how this ends.
Her amber ring.
And the repeated lines in those words.
Her amber ring. Her amber ring. But if you call and let me pass, you may render me a rat when I come back. So calm your waves, slow the churn, and you may have my precious bones on my return.
I don't want to stop it. We'll let it go. We'll let it go. We'll let it go.
I have snipped your wings.
I just want to know what happens, to be honest.
My precious captive swan. Here all clipped of kickstand. Your spirit won't last long.
This little falsetto he slipped into.
Don't you lift a finger. Don't you snap and jaw. Limber limbs akimbo. Rest till rubbing raw.
I like how he has that little snuggle there. And I love that little falsetto there. Just like when right after Bow when she's singing out. I like how big and dramatic that was too.
Don't hold out for rescue. None can hear your
that falsetto, that slip, effortless. There's almost this cowboy coming to the rescue kind of sound here. Sounds hopeful to me. Okay, I gotta stop it. Okay. I'm just now kind of involved in the story and just kind of curious where things are going to go. And in Water. Colin's a fantastic singer. Wonderful way in which he draws from so many different emotions, so many different characters and characteristics and personalities, and breathes life and magic into every single one. With And in Water, the way that he prays towards the river, towards the water, and pleads with the river is heartbreaking, and how at every end of each verse he repeats the lines and the words over and over again for a little bit. And you can almost feel and hear that depression, that deflating of him and his hope. He still holds on to it, but you can feel like it's almost like he's feeling defeated at that point, which understandably and justifiably so. But the moment that it breaks away from the main, I'm going to pull it up here, from the main music, the way it pulls away from the rushing guitar strumming and, which very much acts and sounds like the river rushing along with its waves unstoppable and immovable, it creates an obstacle. But how it moves away from that. Here. This part right here of just his singing and the organ, it's so church coded and prayer coded in how it approaches that particular section. And it's almost like at the most desperate of moments, he's like, please, I will give you anything if you let me cross. When I come back and after I finish what I need to do, I'll come back and I'll give my life to you. Like, I'll sacrifice myself to you. Just let me cross. So it's just really, really emotional how he's captured that and how he pleads with the river there. And I think that that's such a nice isolated moment in an already really, really phenomenal track. And I like how this part to me, I don't know why, but the guitar, the way that it's playing in the strumming, it sounds very like white water rafting. I don't know why, but even without necessarily the water association in the lyrics and such, it just kind of sounds like traveling down the river. There's almost something, what's that type of music? Like, what's that type of music? Like, there's something almost New Orleans. What's like the swamps and not Creole. There's something, I was trying to think of the name, but there's a certain type of music there for whatever reason. The name is now escaping me, but it just puts me in that mindset. Okay, Margaret in Captivity. I love how we also get a return once again of another motif. Lyrically, she says, "Oh my own true love, can you hear me?" Before, after Bower scene, she was calling out, "Can you hear me?" And now, actually, wasn't it? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't it him that was calling when they were trying to meet each other? I'm pretty sure it was William that was calling. I'm looking now really quick. I'm pretty sure it was actually William that was calling. Yeah, it was William that was calling at that particular point. I just went back in the lyrics. Okay, so a nice reversal. And of course, the situation is completely different here. But I like how Colin perfectly goes from the previous track with, this desperate hero on the search for rescue his love, and changes immediately into the rake with that falsetto swing up, that perfect seamless swing up there, and with that little bit of villainous mustache twirling once again in his voice. But I love the beautiful drama. Once again, the pleading in the way that Becky sings My Own True Love, Can You Hear Me? And the way that the music wonderfully expands and it becomes big and dramatic. And then at the end of that, the strings and the way that they begin to rise and fall in cadence is really, really beautiful. And it kind of, to me, lends itself to a little bit of hope in the way that perhaps this is all going to end. But we do not know. There's only one way to find out. And in water, you loom so deep and wide, I would cross over if you would stem the tide, or build a boat that I might ford the other side, to reach the farther shore where my true love lies in wait for me. O gray river, your waters ramble wild, the horses shiver and bite against the bridle. But I will cross if my own horse is pulled for me, though my mother cries that if I try, I sure will be drowned, or drowned be. But if you calm and let me pass, you may render me a wreck when I come back. You can do whatever you want with me when I come back. So calm your waves, slow the churn, and you may have my precious bones on my return. And in water, hear my true love's call. Hear her holler above your water's pall. Like you listen, you hear her crying. God, that I could, that my own two arms could give me wing, and I would cross your breath and rest my breast about her amber ring. And it's interesting how he says, God, that I could, my own two arms could give me wing. Or in the next track, the rake talks of, what was the term he used? Not defeathering, like cutting off her wings, basically. And then he repeats from there. All right, and Margant captivity. There you go. I have snipped your wingspan. See, there's a little connection there. My precious captive swan, here all clipped of kickstand, your spirit won't last long. Don't lift a finger, don't you snap and jaw, limber limbs akimbo, rest till rubbing raw. Don't do anything. Don't move. So I'm going to do what the queen of the forest said to do. Don't hold out for rescue. None can hear your call till I have rest and wrecked you behind these fortress walls. And of course she screams and cries out, my own true love, can you hear me, love? We are on the precipice of rescue or disaster. Let's move on to the next track here, which is The Hazards of Love 3, Revenge. I love how they bring back so many motifs, but reinvent them. Great drumming. Really fantastic. Really? That's the last thing I would have expected to happen at this point in the story. What a creepy carnival. It's twisted, but why wouldn't it be? The band was having a great time putting this track together. such a carnival. So distorted too. I'm gonna let the next track play also. What an unexpected twist, though. What an unexpected twist.
And here comes the wave, and the wanting comes in waves,
What a, like, really coming around to this.
and the wanting comes in waves,
There's a lot happening. Ghost children. I'm assuming he's passing the river.
and the wanting comes in waves.
It's like those violins sped up into it.
And I want this night.
That part sounds like Overland, man. I'm telling you. We'll catch it. We'll catch it. I promise. I promise. I promise. Okay. The most unexpected thing here is these children coming back as ghosts. that is not what I had on my bingo card. At all. And I love how that is absolutely the most unique song on this album, the most unique approach that the band has taken to this far. It is a wonderful little experiment that they do. The children singing each verse, one of the children relating their deaths, but they're all coming back. They're all coming back for dad there. The debt must be repaid. And I like how the track just becomes more sinister and twisted and distorted as it goes on, which makes sense totally. And by the second verse, there's this like carnival merry-go-round kind of sound that's going around. But like I said, eventually it's like it begins to get stretched out and distorted and the sound begins to warp. And it's really, really cool. All that experimentation. There's a little bit of like a musical box that takes place from the third verse onwards. Like just really, really cool how all of that comes together and how they put it together. Let me back it up here really quick to Revenge. Okay. So once again, I like how with the Hazards of Love, how, yes, it's the name of the album. Yes, it's the name of several tracks. But they really do approach each hazard, you could say, and each coming back to that, they approach each one very different. And this is the most different we've heard. Listen. Got the harpsichord starting you off, right? It kind of has a merry-go-round kind of sound. Then by this... And even the echoes on their voices are extremely ghostly and haunted, right? By the second verse... There's your and you have that big electronic kick that comes in at certain points, which will be more constant as we near the end. But I like how every single verse just pads on more and more and distorts and warps the picture more and more. So by the end, the smash snare and drum sounds. Like, just really well put together and so well thought out. That. And then with the wanting comes in waves reprise here. I love how the drumming erupts from here. And of course now the waves coming and going are different before the Desire. And now it is Desire, but to cross this river. But John Moan's drumming is fantastic. I love how it's like he gets to show off a little bit here. And it really feels like we are running to the head of the climax on this particular album, which of course we are. We have one track left, but it feels like it. It feels like the penultimate track, and really, really fantastic. Also, I just noticed that the album's produced by Tucker Martin, which, if I remember correctly, he was married to Laura Veirs, because Laura Veirs was featured on The Crane Wife. That's how I first heard of her and became a fan of her music. And I'm pretty sure they were married at one point. Anyways, let's look at the lyrics, huh? Let me pull it up here. Got to get to The Hazards of Love 3. Father, I'm not feeling well. The flowers you fed tasted spoiled, for suddenly I find I'm dead. Well, what you look at that? But Father, don't you fear, your children are all here, singing, oh, the hazards of love. Papa, turn the water down, the basin's overflown. The water covers everything, and me left all alone. But Papa, here in death, I have regained my breath to sing, oh, the hazards of love. Spare the rod, you spoil the child, but I'd prefer the lash. My sister's drowned and poisoned all, and me reduced to ash. And buried in an urn, but Father, I return, singing, oh, the hazards of love. They coming for you, man. They are coming for you. And of course, Wanting in Waves is just here come the waves. And I want this night. Just this night. William has a lot to do in one night, I'll tell you that. Let us go ahead and listen to the final track, the final Hazards of Love for The Drowned. Now, who's drowned? We know one of the kids is drowned. Is William going to be drowned? Does he make it across? Does he die in trying to cross, but still Margaret's saved by the dead children seeking revenge on the rake? I don't know. Let's find out.
Margaret arrayed the rocks around the hall before it was sinking. A million stones, a million bones, a million holes within the chinking. Painting rings around your eyes, these peppered holes so filled with crying. A whisper weighed upon the tattered down where you and I were lying. Tell me now, tell me this, a forest son, a river's daughter.
That is their story.
A willow on the will-o-wisp, our ghosts will wander all of the water.
Are they both going to kill themselves, basically? Or
So
something?
let's be married here today, these rushing waves to bear our witness. And we will lie like river stones, rolling only where it takes us.
Seems so.
But I pulled you and I called you here. And I caught you and I brought you here. These hazards of love, nevermore will trouble us.
That is very country, that lap steel.
that the lapping waves are licking quietly at our ankles.
It's coming up to that time.
Another bow, another breath. This brilliant chill's come for to shackle. With this long last rush of air, let's speak our vows in starry whispers. And when the waves came crashing down, he closed his eyes and softly kissed her. But I pulled you and I called you here. And I caught you and I brought you here. These hazards of love nevermore will trouble us. These hazards of love nevermore will trouble us.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Decemberists, Hazards of Love, full album reaction and review complete. And we end kind of in a bittersweet way, depending on how you want to look at it. From what I can tell, since he's fated to die by the river, I'm assuming it sounds like he rescues her, and he has to go back to the river. He has to die, and she says, "I'll join you." And so they get married, and so below the river they shall lie, and that's the ending. So a little bit of a bittersweet one, but as he says, at least these hazards of love will no longer trouble us. And that's that. I like how this track feels like the quintessential finale. This is the perfect wrap up everything with a bow kind of track. It hits all the right notes, it hits the sweet sounds. I like how it moves really nicely with that kind of lap steel sound into that kind of country western sound as well, once again here. And it has that beautiful melancholy, like I said, kind of bittersweet sound where, yes, their romance is, etched in stone forever and they've succeeded, but at the same time, of course, that's the end of their life. And I don't know about them kids, but I don't know if they're going to come back the same way. Like that. But I think that this is a really nice track. I will say, I think that this is like the perfectly safe way to end the album musically. It's big, it's expansive, it's very emotional. All the risk, all the experimentation, all of that was done previously and throughout the rest of this album. This is let's just hit the sweet spot with that kind of perfectly structured climax and hit all the right notes. And they do a great job of doing that. I will say that like this track feels more predictable than pretty much every single other track that preceded it. But like I said, I think that it absolutely has a place and is very earning. It feels earned here in the album. Just to let us coast musically on this one. Great singing, great sound. It's a nice track, But like I said, I will say, I like the other tracks better, like all of them, as opposed to this one. It's a nice finale, hits all the feels, but I just like the adventure of the previous tracks here. Let's look at these lyrics, though, real quick. Margaret, array the rocks around the hull before we're sinking. A million stones, a million bones, a million holes within the chinking. They're sinking their boat in the river, and painting rings around your eyes, these peppered holes so filled with crying. A whisper weighed upon the tattered down where you and I were lying. Tell me now, tell me this, a forest sun, a river's daughter, a willow on the willow wisp. our ghost will wander all the water. How did we get together? How did it come to this? So let's be married here today, these rushing waves to bear our witness, and we will lie like river stones, rolling only where it takes us. But I pulled you when I called you here, didn't I? Didn't I? Love the backing vocals by the rest of the band there. And I caught you when I brought you here. These hazards of love would no more trouble us. Oh, Margaret, the lapping waves are licking quietly at our ankles. Another bow, another breath. This brilliant chills come for the shackle. With this long last rush of air, we speak our vows in starry whispers. When the waves came crashing down, he closed his eyes and softly kissed her. And that is the end. These hazards of love nevermore will trouble us. A really, really fantastic album. Like, from beginning to end, not only story-wise, but obviously musically, just a really enjoyable time on here. Let's look at some of the info on here. We mentioned, of course, some of the information here. Let's see. According to the band, frontman Colin Malloy had set out to write a song with the album's title, which eventually developed into an entire album. Of course, we have many guests here. It's a concept album. Oh, where did it take me? It's a concept album and rock opera. Yeah, we know. The plot, I think we got it all, to be honest. I don't think we missed anything necessarily. Release, reception. Favorite tracks? My personal favorite tracks. I would give my first one to The Wanting Comes in Waves Repaid. Just the back and forth stylistically that's done in there. And the vocal performance is out of this world. That would be my favorite song, period. If I had to choose. I think the Rick song is kind of funny. In a dark, humorous kind of way. Obviously a Bower scene as well, or Bower scene, because of the heaviness in it. Which of course comes back later in full effect. Yeah, I would say that my favorite track is The Wanting Comes in Waves Repaid. Absolutely. Yeah. Very satisfied with that. Let me know what you guys thought of the album down below in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed going through it with me, listening to it alongside with me. I hope that it was a good time for you and time well spent. Maybe you got something out of it as well. David, thank you so much once again for the request and for the support. I really appreciate that. And I hope that you all had a good time alongside with me. Pressing that like button before you head out. Do that for me as well. Okay, that's it. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, night, or anywhere in between or outside of those. And I will see you next time, guys. Bye.